Hello and welcome to week 7 of our Reading the Bible in a Year. We've gotten through pretty much all of Genesis, Exodus, and Leviticus. And this week we're moving into the book of Numbers. Today, Monday, is actually the reading from the last 2 chapters of Leviticus. But it's pretty much what I talked about last week. Um, it's a lot of the same stuff. It's a continuation of that. So what I want to do is jump into the book of Numbers. The book of Numbers is named after the fact that it starts off with the taking of a census. The people of Israel are to be counted and numbered. So it goes through the various tribes and the counting up of the men of battle age and counting them up and adding up and counting up the people of Israel. But there's some important things to note in here. Some of it is sort of a continuation of what was going on in Leviticus, the giving of some instructions and guidance, some laws and rules that they were to abide by. But there's also some things that are reminders of the things that God has already done. So, for example, in chapter 3, the Levites are set aside as those that are going to be managing the temple or the tabernacle. They're going to be the ones in charge of all the holy instruments and making sacrifices, and they are set aside. And that is, we're told, is to serve as a reminder, once again, of the Passover. So just as they set aside a lamb to be the sacrifice that would basically account for their firstborns that would not be taken when the angel of the Lord passed over Egypt. So to the Levites are being set aside, consecrated as the first fruits of the people of Israel in service to the Lord. And so they are not given lands. They don't have their own lands. They dwell in the lands of the other tribes. But the tribe which we would have thought would be Joseph, actually Joseph's 2 sons are given tribes, Ephraim and Manasseh. So that's how we maintain the 12 tribes of Israel. You've got the 11 sons, excluding Joseph, the 10 sons excluding Joseph and Levi, and then to replace them, the 2 sons of Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh, become tribes of Israel. So they're all given lands. The tribes are divided into 4 groups of 3 for how they will encamp. 3 on the north, 3 on the south, 3 on the east, 3 on the west, with the Levites and the tabernacle in the middle. And so that's how they are to head out when they move out. When the cloud of the Lord lifts off of the tabernacle, they're to move forward. When it settles down, then they're to camp in that formation each and every time, so that the tabernacle would be protected on all sides, and there'd be 3 tribes on each side. In the midst of this, we also get a very important passage for the church today. Many of our worship services close with the words, "The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious unto you. The Lord look on you with favor and give you his peace." That is known as the Aaronic benediction. It's a blessing that God gives to Aaron to place on the people in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 to 27. And it's important because in it says, "In blessing them in this way, I will place my name on them, and I will be their God." Just as we have last names to indicate what families we belong to, this blessing with the name the Lord is actually the name for God, Yahweh, I am, that was given to Moses at the burning bush, the name for God. And so God is placing that name on them, and they are claimed as his own, as part of his family. In chapter 9, we get another Passover reminder that they are to celebrate this Passover as a regular remembrance of God's deliverance in Egypt. And then they set out. They're still at Sinai at this point. So in chapter 9, they then set out to move towards the promised land. They leave Sinai. In chapter 11, God tells Moses to appoint 70 elders to assist him because Moses is feeling overwhelmed as the people are once again complaining about the food. All they have is the manna. Manna, again, means what is it? So they looked out and saw it and said, "What is it? We don't know what it is." And at this point, they were just fed up with it because that's all they had. And so God provides other things, but does so with a bit of criticism for their constant complaining. But as Moses is struggling with how does he deal with these people and all their complaints, God provides these 70 elders to serve as sort of under judges to Moses to help deal with disputes and complaints so that Moses doesn't have to bear the burden of everyone. And so they are appointed in there. And then in chapter 13, they get to the edge of the promised land and they send in 12 spies, one from each tribe, to look at the land of Canaan and see what is it like? Is this really what God has said it's going to be? And they come back with the report that it is absolutely everything that God said, but 10 of them, not Caleb and Joshua, Caleb from the tribe of Judah and Joshua, the assistant of Moses, I believe from the tribe of Benjamin, they come back and they say, we can do this because God is with us. But the other 10 are concerned that that the people there are too numerous and too strong, and there's no way they can battle against them. And so we're left at the end of our readings for this week on Sunday in chapter 13, wondering what exactly the people are going to do and what God is going to respond. And so that'll be our readings for next week. So blessings as you continue in this reading. I pray that God will bless you as you see God's continued work in the people of Israel, and by extension us, the continuation of the people of Israel into the New Testament, and that your faith will be strengthened as you see God's unending faithfulness to us throughout generations.